Hey guys, Abby with MotorCityNerds here, and originally I was going to do 3 things that would fix Game of Thrones ending. But instead, I think I'm going to break it into 3 different parts, and this one is how Daenerys should have died, and how that should have went down. I really appreciate you being here. We're on our way to 2,000. We're small, but we're awesome. We have a good time. And if you're new here, hello. But I break things down so that everybody can understand what I'm saying. So if that's not your speed, it's cool. I break it down that way. That way everybody who's new can enjoy it. Everybody who's a normal level fan can enjoy it. And then if you're a freak like me, you can enjoy it. If you remember the old knight who comes over to serve Daenerys, Barristan the Bold, Barristan Selmy, who they did so dirty. That is not this video, though. But Barristan the Bold, and I'll put his picture up right here, he comes over to serve Daenerys. He served her father before her. He served Robert Baratheon. His main thing is always being a noble knight who did the right thing, who served the royal family. And if I can find the clip without getting hit for copyright or anything, I'll put it in here. But one of the first things we see with him in the show, and that's what I'm talking about here is the show, is him and Robert Baratheon talking about their first kills on the battlefield, and the first one they got, and then they call Jaime Lannister in, and they're like, oh, Kingslayer, yada, yada, yada. And you can tell Barristan feels a certain kind of way about that, but he's talking mad smack to him. Robert is talking mad smack to Jaime. We're really honing in on the fact that he's the Kingslayer, the Oathbreaker, the man without honor.
Who was your first kill, not counting old men?
One of the outlaws in the Brotherhood.
I was there that day. You were only a squire, 16 years old.
You killed Simon Toyne with the counter riposte. Best move I ever saw.
Good fighter, Toyne. But he lacked stamina.
Your outlaw. Any last words?
I cut his head off, so now.
And you can tell that kind of rubs Barristan the wrong way, but he still respects Jaime's abilities. See in the show, even not just in the book, that this character is very much about his honor. He's very much about being a white cloak, very much about serving the correct ruler.
The honor is mine, my queen.
You know this man?
I know him. As one of the greatest fighters the Seven Kingdoms has ever seen. And as the Lord Commander of Robert Baratheon's Kingsguard. King Robert is dead. I've been searching for you, Daenerys Stormborn, to ask your forgiveness. I was sworn to protect your family. I failed them. I am Barristan Selmy, King's Guard to your father. Allow me to join your Queen's Guard, and I will not fail you again.
Now in the show, this man, if you're not a book person, just know this is the baddest of the bad. Like, Barristan Selmy has won more single combats than any man alive. This dude, even in his old age, is somebody you don't want to mess with. Barristan the Bold is a bad, bad man, and he's awesome. He's so cool.
Even now, I could cut through the 5 of you like carving a cake. Here, boy. Melt it down and add it to the others.
Even in watching those clips to edit together to put in this, I'm like, no, the way he addresses Daenerys, the way he talks to the court and says, earlier in that clip that I didn't show, I'm a knight. I'll die a knight. Oh my God. And then do you notice how, if you want to go back and watch that clip again, the last one, how everybody recoils? Notice the Hound puts his hand on his sword all quick. Notice how Joffrey goes like this. Notice how Joffrey don't talk smack back. That's because everybody knows how bad this dude is. What a line. That is one of the best lines in the entire show. And you guys have to remember that the Kingsguard, the White Cloaks, are the best of the best. Well, they're supposed to be, but there can be political gain there, but we're not getting into that. But they're supposed to be the best of the best fighters, and they're all looking shook. They're all like, what? Huh? Even the Hound, like I said, you start seeing everybody put their heads down and like, ugh, we really don't want to mess with this guy, because that is the reputation he has. They know how loyal Barristan Selmy is. They know he's going to do the right thing, and they know this dude, of all dudes, can back it up. Of all dudes, not just in Westeros, I'm talking the entire world that A Song of Ice and Fire is in, this dude, even in his old age, can back it up. I think my sound is going in and out, so we're just going to do it like this, so I'm sorry if it's not as good. But you have Barristan Selmy kill Daenerys. You have him become the one thing he never wanted to be. You have him become the Queenslayer. And even if you're not a super book person, you know, wow, this guy's been by her side. Since, like, what, season 2? He's been by her side. He's the one who throws Jorah Mormont down for being a sneak rat. He's loyal to her. And that emotion would have been there. Now, book people, stay with me. Imagine if he wouldn't have been killed. I cannot reiterate more to the class that of all characters alive in this world during the books, the last one who's going to get taken out by essentially gangbangers in an alleyway is Barristan Selmy. So book readers were already like, are you kidding me? But like I said, imagine this, book readers. Imagine King's Landing blows apart. Those gates blow apart. And it pans over not to Jon. Because why would Jon? I mean, Jon cares about human life. But Jon don't care about King's Landing. Barristan Selmy, been there for a long time. Living there for a long time. Dedicated his life to these royal families. Dedicated his life to doing the right thing. And we pan over and we see him. And he's just like, oh my God, I did the wrong thing. My whole life I did the right thing. And he doesn't even have to say nothing. But we know on his face, like, no. And then it also makes sense to have him be solo dolo with Daenerys in the throne. Who else is going to be at your right hand when you ascend the throne? I think it'd be your King's Queen's Guard, right? And he's the head of it. So imagine it was Barristan who had to kill Daenerys. Imagine we were, and like I said, it might not be the greatest thing. I know I did win my Deadpool, not to brag, but the 3 bonus questions were, will there be an Iron Throne? Is Daenerys alive? And who kills the Night King? I got the Night King one. I got the Iron Throne one. I said there will be no Iron Throne. I said that Arya would get the Night King, and I said that Daenerys would live, but I knew she wouldn't be in power by the end, is what my thing was. It all would have worked. And I'm not hating on Kit Harington or Emilia Clarke. I think they're great actors, and they proved that in these characters. They proved that they had these characters down. It was the subpar writing that took place. It was the speediness of which that happened. It wasn't their fault, but I'd be damned. I'd be pissed. I would haunt everybody forever if I got killed by some guy I, like, swiped right on Tinder. What, you banged on a boat once? You guys hung out for like a couple weeks. That emotion wasn't there. You have to remember, too, Kit Harington married the woman who played Ygritte. That chemistry on screen was not just on screen, and it showed. And I'm not saying you have to marry every person you act with. I'm just saying, I'm sure it came through to us very easily that these two really cared about each other. We also had more time. We also had better writing. But with Daenerys and Jon, it's like, what? The one night stand? He cares that much, and I care that, what? No. So if it would have been Barristan Selmy, man, that would have hit harder. Like I said, I think people would have still been upset because they didn't get the happy ending that we all knew as book readers we weren't going to get. We weren't going to get that. So I don't know why anybody had their hopes up. Like I said, I had on my Deadpool. She ain't going to make it to power. The Iron Throne's not going to be there, so I didn't think it was going to be a happy thing. But also with that George R. R. Martin way of writing where, and I use the Hound as an example because he's constantly going, he's just the best one to use because he's constantly going like, I'm no knight, I'm no knight, I'm no knight. But it seems to me, sir, like you have the most knight-like tendencies naturally of all of these characters. You don't hurt the weak, you don't hurt the innocent. Like that can be argued if we're splitting hairs of like orders he took. But when it comes down to it, he's got a code. He says that to Arya. But he's constantly going, look at my brother, look at the mountain. He's a knight. So all these things that people say they aren't or that they are, they're normally the opposite. So by him going, I ain't no knight, he's kind of the most like a knight. Same thing here. The one thing Barristan Selmy never wanted to become is the Queenslayer, and then it happens. That's very George R. R. Martin-y. So I'm like, man, if you would not have threw this character away so unsanctimoniously, that would have been the way to go. That would have been the way to go. Hopefully this is back working, but yeah, it might not be. I could be totally wrong. Tell me what you think about that. Tell me if you think I'm wrong, but I do think visually, because if you're new also, my big thing here, my first love is film. That's what I love. I love Game of Thrones. I love books. I love The Dark Tower. I love Lord of the Rings. I love comics. I love our superheroes. I love all of that stuff. But my first love is film. That's what I love. So having something get adapted and looking at it and going like, well, this would have worked here, but on the page, this works better, and this works here, and that works there, but on screen, you need to do this with an audience, and yada, yada, yada. If you've been here, you've heard my spiel. But I think emotionally, as a mass audience, like I said, I don't think people would have been happy anyway, and we'll get into my other two in a separate video. But I think with this one, people might not have known like every little thing about Barristan the Bold, but they would have known, wow, that's the guy that was loyal to her. And it also factors into my other stuff that, like I said, there's 3 main things, and I'm like, if they would have done this, this, and this, I feel like people would have been upset, but not as upset as they were. So yeah. Hi to all the new subscribers. Welcome. I'm Abby with MotorCityNerds. I'm on OF. I'm on TikTok. I'm on all the things down below. And yeah, tell me, I really want to know if book readers think, do you think this might happen in the book? Because it's very George R. R. Martin-y. Or do you think that's a stupid idea on screen also? Tell me what you think about it down below. Because like I said, I really do. I think to a mass audience, even if they didn't know who he was, it would have worked. And to book readers, it would have really worked. And we would have been like, oh man, the Queenslayer now? I think it would have been epic. I think it would have been sad. And I think it would have hit a lot harder than all of us going, really? Jon did it? Come on now.